There are several new developments in the controversy over accepting Syrian refugees in Texas and other states. Some Christian churches told Fox 4 they will ignore Governor Greg Abbott's directive to refuse to help them. But Governor Abbott went a step further than trying to decline refugees. He says he now wants Syrian refugees who have been resettled in Texas since 2012 to be screened. And Abbott appointed a refugee coordinator for the state, Cecile Young, who's the chief of staff of the State Health and Human Services Commission. Abbott is one of some 30 governors who say Syrian refugees are not welcome because of terrorist concerns. Tonight, the White House held a conference call with those governors about the issue. Right before that, Abbott was on the Fox News channel.
As the FBI director has admitted, as other federal officials have admitted, because of the inability to establish good tracking information about the background of the Syrian refugees, I would say it is impossible for them to meet our standard, our criteria, to accept any further refugees.
Fox 4's Deanna Zoga has been talking with church leaders today who still intend to work with Syrian refugees. She is live to tell us more about it. Deanna.
Well, Steve, under the governor's efforts to block Syrian refugees, churches that do have refugee outreach programs are left to consider what political leaders are saying and their own missions. And as you mentioned, some Christian churches here in Dallas say they do intend to keep working with refugees, no matter their religion or where they come from.
We help them, but they help us too.
In the 14 years since her church welcomed young refugees from Sudan in 2001, Nita Thomason says she's found more and more reasons to expand her church family in Richardson.
They have taught us to pray in ways that we've never prayed before because they have known God as their only provider.
Even after the attacks in Paris, she says she plans to continue her work, unafraid.
I just have realized through the years that we have a lot to give each other. It's not a one-way street.
I hope they get it worked out because we're gonna work with whoever's here.
Likewise, Pastor Greg Brandenburg of Fellowship Bible Church in Dallas says the refugee outreach program at his church will not withhold help to Syrians.
I'm probably less concerned about a Syrian refugee causing problems than some country guy in Palestine causing problems for some family that wants to go camping. We got lots of problems with security in our country. And I'm not nearly as concerned with some of those people that will be vetted who we have an actual relationship with than I am with some other issues that are going on in our country right now.
Monday, Catholic Charities of Dallas, which resettles refugees, said it would stop per the governor's directive. Tuesday, it briefly published a statement on its website reaffirming the decision, then took it down, signaling perhaps a conflict in what to say in these tense times.
So I hope Dallas of all places, with as many churches and Christians and wonderful people as we have, we can be an example to the churches in the rest of the country.
Rebecca Walls is working with area churches to get them on the same page and hopes churches will trust the vetting process and welcome those seeking refuge in Texas from Syria.
If you look at the whole of gospel, we are not told to be like ostriches and stick our heads in the sand. We are told to rise up with wings of eagles. And I would much rather be an eagle than an ostrich.
The churches you heard from tonight don't actually resettle refugees. Once those refugees are brought in by other agencies, the churches with their outreach programs step in to do other things like offer English as second language classes and enrollment in schools and things like that. Now, churches here in the area tell us they were planning to meet today for some time now, anticipating this influx of Syrian refugees to North Texas. And right now, with everything that's going on, the timeline, they say, is still in flux. Back to you, Steve.
All right, Deanna, so we know churches mostly just want to help people. They don't do vetting at all. They just want to help them be okay. How about agencies that do sort of these background checks or might do this vetting? What are they saying?
Right, and so I just mentioned that the churches don't do the resettling. So not to confuse the matter, Catholic Charities of Dallas is actually an agency that does do some of the resettling. Okay. And like we mentioned in the story, they said that they're not going to resettle Syrian refugees until they get more information. But there are other groups that work essentially as government contractors in Texas. I've heard back from another one tonight, Refugee Services of Texas, that says no Syrian families are in their pipeline at the moment. But if they do get a request, this is a request by one of its State Department approved partners to resettle a family, that this group will go ahead and resettle that family in Texas. Back to you.
Okay, Deanna Zoga, thank you.